In this video, I'll answer a frequently asked question that comes up in the job selection process. Should I choose my career based on my skills or my passion? At the end of the video, I'll share 3 practical questions that will help you navigate your vocational discernment process. So let's get started. My name is Paul, and if this is your first time to the channel, I welcome you because I'm here to clarify your unique calling. If you've ever wrestled with choosing a career, someone in your life may have told you, just follow your passion. Choose a job you love and you will never have to work in a day of your life. In fact, it was Steve Jobs who told a similar advice to Stanford's 2005 graduating class. Check it out.
The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle.
We live in a world today that says that the key to a fulfilling career is to figure out what you're passionate about and then go find a job to match that. But wait a minute, is that really sound advice? Because let me share at least a couple of reasons why this is actually bad advice. First, following your passion presupposes that you actually have a passion. But studies show that so many people don't have a clear, predefined passion to follow. This is especially true if you're a recent grad or a young professional who are just setting out on your own for the first time. A second reason why this is bad advice is that it assumes that passion is a fixed quality, as if you were born with pre-existing passions that don't change. But that's not really the case. In fact, social scientists at Stanford and Yale National University of Singapore published a paper arguing that passions are developed, not discovered. The study claims urging people to find their passion may lead them to put all their eggs in one basket, but then to drop their basket when it becomes difficult to carry. The final problem that I see with the statement, do what you love, is that it's a very self-centered approach that hardly considers addressing the needs of the world. The truth is, our passions and our desires are often mixed with sinful desires, which becomes a source of all kind of trouble. I mean, just think about Adolf Hitler. To say that he was a great leader is a controversial statement, but to say that he lacked passion, that's outright wrong. I mean, talk about a man with a singular passion to exterminate one people group. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that passion isn't important in your career selection process. What I'm saying is that the passion first mindset is actually detrimental in your career selection process because you actually end up leaving out a lot of other important factors that needs to be considered. So what are those important factors? Let me frame it in 3 questions that will help you in your vocational discernment process. So first, ask yourself, what needs of the world do I resonate with? If passion is a self-centered desire, what I call a holy discontent is an other-oriented desire. The idea of a holy discontent is where your passions are directed to address the needs of the world. I love what Frederick Buechner says, the place God calls you is the place where your deep gladness and your deep hunger meet. So if you're asking where can you start by looking around and identifying the concrete needs in the community and the world around you. What needs do you vibrate to? What problems or kinds of people needs move you? Are you drawn to people who are homeless or racial injustice? Or maybe just this lack of educational reform that frustrates you? Whatever that is, it must serve a specific need in this broken world. Now here's a great question for you. What is the one aspect of this broken world that when you see it, when you touch it, when you get near it, that you just can't stand? Because for Moses, as an example, it was the misery of God's people. For King David, his holy discontent was Goliath trash talking his God and his people. For Mother Teresa, it was extreme poverty. And for Bono, it was apathy. And for me, when I see young people who have so much untapped potential, but are just squandering and just wasting away their lives, that really frustrates me. And it's honestly the reason why I started this YouTube channel, because I want to reach them. So what about you? What is that makes you sad? What is that makes you angry? And what is that you can't stand? The second question to ask is, what am I good at or willing to get good at? So this requires you to have an accurate self-awareness of your skills and have a plan to grow your skills. How often have we seen people who are just passionate about things but simply lack the skills? One way to think about your skills is that it's the gateway to your passion. Cal Newport, the author of So Good They Can't Ignore You, argues that the best way is to be passionate about what we do is to get really, really good at what we do. He said that passion in large part is the product of positive feedback after longevity, hard work, and improvement. So for those who are saying, Paul, I have a hard time actually answering the question, what are you good at? If that is you, then ask instead, what are you willing to get good at? Pick something that you wouldn't mind investing years in mastering. If you have already identified some skills, then that makes sense for you to start there. But you should still expect years, like decades of deliberate practice before you cultivate a deep passion for your work. Last but not least, you need to ask yourself, am I listening to the caller? Before you ask if this is what I am called to do, you need to first ask who is calling me. Your calling implies that there is a caller. And because you cannot call yourself, you need to know who is calling you. I believe that our caller is God. He is the author. He is the creator of your life. And as you consider your work, are you considering what the caller wants for you? Are you actually spending time in prayer, meditating on His Word, walking with God? Because without this, you're ultimately trying to navigate the season without any sense of direction. You need a compass, and you have a God calling you to be led by Him. So I hope these thoughts and questions give you some food for thought as you think about your own career. I definitely understand that this is a complex issue and that there isn't a cookie cutter approach, because everyone's situation is different. But I also recognize that as you think about your own career, you have a caller who is guiding you, who is leading you, and He's loving you to spending every dimension of your life, including your work life, for the glory of God. Hope this blesses you.